all of the indicators of sexual slavery, of abductions, of closure of schools, of denial of humanitarian assistance, and of recruitment and use of children. These are all indications of or actual forms of child trafficking, which occur repeatedly in conflict situations, and we urgently need to act to prevent such atrocities affecting Sudanese children. In my capacity as UN Special Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons, especially women and children, I have issued a number of communications specifically addressing recruitment and use of children by the Rapid Support Forces, as well as other serious human rights violations linked to child trafficking for purposes of sexual slavery. I am very concerned around the continuing recruitment and use of children, which is a grave violation of international law and a form of trafficking in persons. We have received information in this context, and I have been engaged in issuing communications and highlighting early warnings around this issue since October 2023. It's also an issue that has been highlighted by the fact-finding mission on Sudan and is a concern that arises from multiple sources on the ground in Sudan who are highlighting the indications and prevalence of child recruitment. We are seeing that the provision of assistance and protection services is very limited. Child protection services have broken down, schools are closed. So the risks of re-trafficking and the continuing cycle of trafficking, recruitment and use of children, abductions for sexual slavery, this is continuing. So the kind of situation that we need to provide child protection services, to provide reintegration, rehabilitation, access to psychosocial, medical and healthcare, access to education, that is not possible at the moment in the context of the ongoing conflict. Accountability efforts are ongoing, for example, through the work of the fact-finding mission of the UN, established by the Human Rights Council, which reported just 2 weeks ago to the General Assembly, Third Committee in New York, and has also reported and highlighted these issues before member states at the Human Rights Council. So that documentation and reporting process is ongoing with the intention of putting a spotlight on the serious violations of international humanitarian law and human rights law. Child trafficking may amount to a war crime or a crime against humanity, for example, of enslavement or sexual slavery. It's also linked to the 6 grave violations against children in international law, which is documented through a formal monitoring and reporting process by the Office of the Special Representative of the Secretary General of the UN on children and armed conflict. Sudan, of course, is a situation that is also before the International Criminal Court. There may also be possibilities for states to exercise universal jurisdiction. So these processes take time. We have not seen the kind of capacity needed on the ground to ensure effective prevention or assistance and protection, and that needs to be strengthened. The most urgent need now is to bring an end to this conflict, to prevent the ongoing atrocities, in particular as they are impacting on children. We need continued attention by the international community and the United Nations on the situation in Sudan. It is the world's largest child displacement crisis. We need all these accountability efforts to focus on prevention of child trafficking and assistance and protection. Too often it's overlooked, but the systematic nature of it is evident. All of the indicators of sexual slavery, of abductions, of closure of schools, of denial of humanitarian assistance, and of recruitment and use of children, these are all indications of or actual forms of child trafficking, which occur repeatedly in conflict situations, and we urgently need to act to prevent such atrocities affecting Sudanese children.